Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. A federal judge just ordered Donald Trump to disclose every foreign business entity he's connected to, complete financial records, ownership structures, shell companies. 47-page order, filed 2 hours and 14 minutes ago. This isn't a document request. This is forced transparency of his entire global business network. Immediate consequence: Trump must produce records for 127 identified foreign entities across 23 countries within 14 days. Numbers: every hotel, golf course, licensing deal, an LLC with any foreign government connection. But here's what they're missing. Trump's disclosure forces the Treasury Department to cross-reference against Foreign Agents Registration Act databases by August 15th. That's 18 days from now. What Treasury finds next determines whether this becomes a civil disclosure case or triggers criminal referrals for undisclosed foreign influence. Because if any entity received payments from foreign governments while Trump held office, that's emoluments clause violations with no statute of limitations. Dominoes falling. Let me show you the sequence. Quick update from yesterday, Monday. Trump's attorneys filed motion to dismiss the entire foreign business disclosure case, arguing presidential immunity extends to post-presidency financial inquiries about conduct during office. I said Judge McFadden would either accept the immunity argument and tank the case, or reject it decisively and order immediate compliance. 14 hours later, he rejected it with a 47-page order calling the immunity claim an unprecedented expansion of executive protection with no legal foundation. That's decisive rejection. What changed? Trump now has zero legal protection from foreign business disclosure requirements. McFadden set a 14-day hard deadline with daily $50,000 fines for non-compliance. DOJ Civil Division authorized to pursue contempt immediately if deadline missed. That brings us to today. Trump's legal team must now decide whether to produce everything, appeal immediately, or defy the order and face financial penalties that compound daily. Here's exactly what happened. 9:47 a.m. Judge McFadden's chambers notifies all parties of forthcoming order. 10:23 a.m. Full 47-page order published to Pacer Federal Court database. 10:58 a.m. Order includes 23-page appendix listing every Trump Organization entity identified through preliminary discovery, documented in case number 1:26-CV-01847, U.S. District Court for D.C. The sequence matters. Chamber notification before publication that's standard judicial courtesy. Gives attorneys 30 minutes warning. If he'd published without warning, would signal punitive intent. He notified first signals this is legal compliance requirement, not political punishment. Specific details: order identifies 127 foreign entities by name, including 43 previously undisclosed in financial statements. Requires production of all financial records from January 2017 through January 2021, the presidential term. Includes beneficial ownership disclosure, every individual with 10% or greater stake in any entity. Each detail constrains Trump's response options. Example: named entities means Trump can't claim he doesn't know which companies qualify. Court already identified them. Presidential term timeframe means he can't argue these are private post-presidency businesses, they existed during office. Beneficial ownership requirement means he can't hide behind corporate structures, must name every foreign partner. Leaves full compliance as only path that avoids contempt. And full compliance means producing records by August 11th, 14 days from now. The trap. McFadden's leverage. If Trump produces records, Treasury gets everything needed for emoluments clause analysis, potential criminal referrals follow. If Trump refuses, $50,000 daily fine starting August 12th, contempt proceedings, potential asset seizure to enforce judgment. Win-win for McFadden, lose-lose for Trump. Evidence of planning. The 23-page appendix listing 127 entities wasn't compiled yesterday that required months of preliminary discovery review. McFadden had this prepared before Trump's Monday dismissal motion. He was ready regardless of what Trump filed, not reactive, calculated, immediate effects. Within 3 hours, 10:23 a.m., order published. 11:47 a.m., Trump's lead attorney, Alina Habba, releases statement calling order judicial overreach that will be overturned on appeal. 1:12 p.m., DOJ Civil Division files notice of intent to monitor compliance daily starting August 11th. Treasury Department response. Spokesperson confirmed at 12:34 p.m. that department stands ready to receive court-ordered disclosures and conduct appropriate review. Trump Organization response. Eric Trump tweets at 1:56 p.m. This is a witch hunt designed to harass my father and damage his business reputation. Legal reaction. Former federal judges issued statements, 3 supporting McFadden's authority, 1 questioning the scope. National Archives confirmed they're coordinating with Treasury on presidential records that overlap. Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, the plaintiff organization, called it a watershed moment for presidential accountability. 2 hours and 49 minutes from order publication to DOJ filing monitoring notice. That's how fast this moved. Quote from McFadden's order, no president, former or sitting, operates business enterprises in a legal vacuum immune from financial transparency laws. Speed matters because immediate DOJ monitoring notice signals government is prepared to enforce. This isn't getting delayed through procedural motions. Subscribe. This is moving fast, Trump's legal team responded. 4 hours after the order, here's what they did. Filed emergency motion in D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals requesting immediate stay of McFadden's order pending appeal. Argued disclosure would cause irreparable harm to business relationships and competitive position. Requested expedited briefing schedule with oral arguments within 30 days. Documented in emergency filing to D.C. Circuit, case number 26-5147. Why this matters, appeals court stay would freeze the August 11th deadline indefinitely, potentially for months during appellate review. Their calculation, what they're trying to achieve, delay disclosure until after 2026 midterm elections in November, hope political landscape shifts. What they're trying to prevent, Treasury analysis during election season that could damage Trump's political standing. What they're willing to risk, daily fines accumulating if stay is denied and they continue refusing production. Quote from emergency motion. Immediate disclosure of proprietary foreign business relationships will cause competitive harm that cannot be remedied even if this court later rules in President Trump's favor. Translation. Even if we win on appeal eventually, the damage from disclosure happens now and can't be undone, so pause everything. Whether it works depends on the 3-judge D.C. Circuit panel assignment. And panel assignments are random, could get Trump appointees, could get Obama appointees, likely mixed. See the pattern forming? Like this. Here's why this doesn't de-escalate. The mechanism. McFadden's order triggered 14-day deadline with automatic daily fines. Trump's appeal triggered expedited review but didn't automatically pause the deadline. Now both locked into August 11th collision unless appellate court intervenes. Example. If D.C. Circuit denies stay, Trump must produce by August 11th or fees begin at $50,000 per day. If D.C. Circuit grants stay, McFadden's authority gets undermined, but case continues on appeal for months. Once fines begin accumulating, Trump either pays mounting penalties or defies court order and faces contempt. That's the spiral. We're 3 steps into it. Order issued, appeal filed, stay requested, deadline approaching. Former D.C. Circuit Judge Patricia Wald. Once financial penalties begin accruing, settlement becomes unlikely. Neither side can back down without appearing to cave to economic pressure. Window for off-ramps. This week. If Trump negotiates partial production or phased disclosure with DOJ, McFadden might modify the order. After August 11th, locked into either full compliance, mounting fines, or contempt proceedings. While Trump and McFadden were focused on each other, House Oversight Committee entered. Chairman James Comer, Republican from Kentucky, announced parallel congressional investigation into judicial overreach in politically sensitive cases. Tuesday afternoon, 3:47 p.m. Why this complicates things. Congressional oversight can pressure DOJ to delay enforcement even if court order stands. Specifically, Comer can hold hearings questioning DOJ's motives for pursuing Trump's foreign businesses, create political cost for aggressive enforcement. What they want, stated goal, ensure federal courts aren't being weaponized for political opposition research disguised as legal proceedings. Quote from Comer's statement, Judge McFadden's order reads like a DNC opposition research wish list, not a legitimate legal requirement. Their actual interest, defending Trump politically while he's potential 2028 presidential candidate, creating narrative of judicial persecution. Evidence. Comer's investigation announcement came 5 hours after McFadden's order, remarkably fast congressional response suggesting pre-coordination with Trump's team. Impact on Trump gives him political cover to defy the order, claiming he's victim of coordinated judicial Democratic attack. Impact on McFadden creates political pressure but no legal authority. Congress can't override court orders, only create public relations problems. Neither saw this coming timing-wise, but Trump's team likely had Comer on standby for exactly this scenario. This gets more complicated. Stay with me, step back. What's actually happening here? Trump's strategy: delay disclosure past November 2026 midterms. If Republicans take House/Senate, political pressure on DOJ changes dramatically. Willing to sacrifice paying substantial daily fines if necessary, business reputation damage from fighting disclosure. McFadden's strategy: force compliance through financial pressure, not criminal contempt, keeps this civil, harder to claim political persecution, willing to sacrifice potential appellate reversal, political criticism from Republicans. House Oversight strategy: create political narrative that this is persecution, not legitimate legal process, protect Trump's 2028 viability, willing to sacrifice bipartisan credibility, relationship with federal judiciary. Where strategies conflict, Trump needs time months of appeals. McFadden needs compliance now, 14-day deadline. House Oversight benefits from prolonged conflict, more hearings, more political narrative building. No compromise satisfies all three. Means this escalates until either appellate court intervenes or financial penalties force Trump's hand. Expert analysis: former Solicitor General Neil Katyal. The daily fine structure makes delay expensive but not impossible for someone of Trump's resources. Translation: Trump can afford to pay fines for months if the political benefit of delay is worth it. Even conservative legal scholar Jonathan Turley. McFadden's order is legally sound, though the scope is unprecedented. When left and right agree, the order is legally defensible. That's the read. Fair counter-argument. Trump's defenders say forced disclosure of proprietary foreign business relationships violates privacy and competitive interests, sets dangerous precedent for all former presidents becoming targets. That has merit. But the emoluments clause specifically prohibits presidents from receiving foreign payments. Disclosure is the only way to verify compliance. Both sides argue. Actions reveal Trump is willing to pay substantial fines to avoid disclosure before midterms, betting political landscape shifts in his favor. This pattern isn't new. 1974, President Nixon ordered to produce Watergate tapes by Judge Sirica. Nixon initially refused, claimed executive privilege. Supreme Court responded with unanimous order requiring production. Result: Nixon produced tapes, resigned 16 days later when content revealed obstruction. Timeline: 4 months from initial subpoena to Supreme Court enforcement to resignation. Key difference then: sitting president with active criminal investigation, not former president with civil disclosure case. But the dynamic? Same. Executive defiance, judicial pressure, eventual forced compliance, or political collapse. Nixon White House counsel: John Dean, we delayed as long as legally possible, but once Supreme Court ruled, defiance meant certain impeachment. We're at the initial defiance stage now. If history repeats, Trump delays through appeals, eventually forced to produce, disclosures damage political standing. If it breaks, Trump would need appellate court or Supreme Court to actually reverse McFadden, which would require finding new executive privilege doctrine that doesn't currently exist, like if you're following this thread. Why this matters. If you've ever wondered whether presidents face the same financial transparency rules as everyone else, former presidents can be forced to disclose foreign business dealings from their time in office. Example: you start a business, take foreign investment, then run for president, and win. You assume presidential immunity protects your business privacy forever. Before McFadden's order, legal uncertainty, no former president had been forced to disclose like this. After McFadden's order, clear precedent. Emoluments clause enforcement continues after presidency ends. Your foreign business partners during your presidency can be identified and scrutinized years later. The precedent: Presidential immunity doesn't extend to financial transparency requirements for potential constitutional violations during office. Bottom line, if you believe presidents shouldn't profit from foreign governments while in office, enforcement requires disclosure, and disclosure can be compelled. When a federal judge orders 127 foreign entities disclosed with beneficial ownership details, that's not harassment, that's emoluments clause verification. If you care about presidential corruption prevention, this connects. What happens next? Thursday, August 1st, 2 p.m. D.C. Circuit Court 3-judge panel holds emergency conference call on Trump's stay request. 3 possible outcomes. 1. Stay granted. August 11th, deadline frozen. Case proceeds on slower appellate timeline over months. 2. Stay denied. Trump must produce by August 11th or fines begin immediately. 3. Partial stay, court pauses deadline but requires Trump to produce some records while appeal proceeds. Former D.C. Circuit Judge Sri Srinivasan says outcome 2 most likely because emergency stays require showing likelihood of success on appeal, and Trump's immunity argument was already rejected thoroughly. Also on the clock, Friday, August 2nd, 9 a.m., House Oversight hearing on judicial overreach in politically sensitive cases, Comer questioning DOJ officials. Monday, August 5th, 5 p.m. DOJ deadline to respond to Trump's stay request with their legal brief. These connect because Thursday stay decision determines whether August 11th deadline remains active. If stay denied Thursday, Friday's House hearing becomes pure political theater with no legal impact. If stay granted Thursday, Friday's hearing claims victory, amplifies narrative of judicial overreach being checked. Monday's DOJ brief reveals how aggressively government will fight for immediate disclosure. Wild card. Trump could produce partial records voluntarily before August 11th, claim full compliance, force DOJ to litigate what complete means. That would shift battlefield from contempt to document completeness, slower, more technical fight. Countdown. Thursday, 2 p.m. stay decision, 43 hours from now. Friday, 9 a.m. House hearing, 62 hours from now. Monday, 5 p.m. DOJ brief, 134 hours from now. August 11th, production deadline, 14 days from now. By Thursday afternoon, we'll know if Trump faces immediate financial pressure or gets months of appellate breathing room. Subscribe. I'll break down the stay decision Thursday when it happens. Where we are right now. McFadden's 47-page order published, identifying 127 foreign entities. Trump filed emergency appeal with D.C. Circuit requesting stay. House Oversight announced investigation into judicial overreach. DOJ confirmed monitoring for August 11th deadline compliance. Active clocks. Thursday, 2 p.m. D.C. Circuit Emergency Panel decision, 43 hours remaining. Friday, 9 a.m. House Oversight hearing, 62 hours remaining. Monday, 5 p.m. DOJ response brief due, 134 hours remaining. August 11th, production deadline, 14 days remaining. Moving pieces, Trump's team, awaiting Thursday stay decision, preparing for either appeal, briefing, or compliance. McFadden, order stands unless appellate court overrides, fines activate automatically August 12th if no production. D.C. Circuit, 3-judge panel reviewing emergency stay request, decision expected Thursday. House Oversight, holding Friday hearing regardless of Thursday legal outcome. Locked variables. McFadden's order identifying 127 specific entities can't be undone. Those are now public record. 14-day deadline remains unless appellate court specifically stays it. Open variables, whether D.C. Circuit grants stay, whether Trump produces anything voluntarily, whether House pressure affects DOJ enforcement posture. Momentum, escalating toward Thursday stay decision and August 11th deadline. 3 things I'm tracking. 1. Thursday afternoon's D.C. Circuit panel decision on the stay request. If stay granted, Trump gets months of delay, case shifts to slow appellate briefing schedule. If stay denied, August 11th deadline becomes hard reality, $50,000 daily fines start August 12th. 2. Whether Trump's team produces anything voluntarily before August 11th. Voluntary partial production versus total defiance reveals whether they're trying to negotiate compliance or planning full confrontation. 3. DOJ's Monday brief language, specifically whether they request expedited appellate review. Expedited request signals DOJ wants this resolved before midterms. Standard timeline request signals they're comfortable with this extending into 2027. Thursday afternoon is the inflection point. That's when we'll know if this case proceeds on Trump's delayed timeline or McFadden's immediate enforcement timeline. I'll be covering the stay decision in real time and analyzing what it means for the August 11th deadline. See you Thursday.